What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another review. This time we're taking a look at Insomnia, directed by Christopher Nolan, starring Robin Williams, Al Pacino, and Hilary Swank. So the story of Insomnia is this: Al Pacino plays an LA police detective named Will Domer, who is sent to Alaska to solve a murder case of this teenage girl. Now the place in Alaska that he's going to is called Night View, Alaska, in which it's daylight pretty much all around the clock. And because of this, he starts to develop insomnia, and it starts to have a really bad psychological effect on him. So while he's trying to investigate this murder case, he's battling insomnia, and like I said, it's starting to fracture his psych his it's starting to fracture him psychologically. All right, so that is the overall plot of Insomnia. Let's talk about it. I overall think that Insomnia is a near perfect film. I loved this movie. Now, and I've only seen this movie once, and and I just finished it now to record this review. So this is a fresh new thoughts. This is a fresh thoughts in a movie that is nearly 20 years old that I have avoided watching for those 20 years. And I wish I didn't, because Insomnia is fantastic. This is pretty much Christopher Nolan's second feature length film. And you could pretty much tell that Christopher Nolan, between watching this movie and what would happen after this movie, this man was ready. This is a fantastically well paced psychological thriller backed by two really excellent performances and one very good performance being Hilary Swank. When you compare the Hilary Swank performance to Williams and Pacino, she kind of falls on the wayside. Not saying that her performance is bad, but you have heavy hitters like Pacino and Williams, so of course they're going to get your attention. And I just want to I might as well just talk about it. Al Pacino as Will Dormer. This movie came out when Pacino still cared about his career and still cared about putting on very good performances. And Pacino as the LA police detective Will Dormer is fantastic. I thought Pacino was amazing in this movie. He turned in a fantastic performance. I like how he has to wrestle with different things. Um, how he has to wrestle with different things. He's being investigated by internal affairs for pretty much fabricating evidence, which gets revealed near the end of the movie. And by doing so, his partner named Hap pretty much knows about it and is pretty much willing to rat him out in terms of getting immunity. So, when a big chase scene happens, Pacino's character accidentally shoots and kills his partner, and all the while, the Walter Finch character, played by Robin Williams, sees the whole thing happen. And this is where the movie really starts to get interesting, and this is where Pacino's performance really starts to shine. And like I said, how he has to wrestle with different things. He has to wrestle with the fact if he actually meant to shoot and kill his partner, or if it was done by accident, because of the ever-growing insomnia that's happening to him, that he's experiencing because of where he is. This is what causes his psychological breakdown in a way. And seeing Pacino's performance pretty much evolve throughout the course of this movie, and how his psyche starts to deteriorate, utterly fantastic. And Pacino should be amended for putting on such a fantastic performance and showing these elements play out as the film progresses. Cannot say anything bad about Pacino's performance in this movie. Robert Williams as Walter Finch, who is this pretty much a author who in his words accidentally killed a girl. Robert Williams, to me, never gets enough credit for being a very good dramatic actor. Robin Williams is one of those comedians who can balance doing comedy and drama really well. This movie pretty much has Robin Williams playing a straight-laced, humorless role where he is just this evil son of a bitch who is one step ahead of Dormer, and it feels like has a backup plan after a backup plan. And Robin Williams' performance in this movie is fantastic. There are certain scenes where Williams just comes across as just this manipulating man, and to me, the best scene between in this movie is the ferry scene where Pacino and Williams finally meet face to face, and their on-screen chemistry with one another is mesmerizing. You cannot take your eyes off Pacino and Williams during that ferry scene. The dialogue exchange between them is intense. Finch pretty much coming up with devising this plan, but with with the Dormer character as regards to what happened to Hap and the girl that Finch killed. How Finch pretty much wants to pin everything on the girl's boyfriend, who's already abusive to her to begin with, to pretty much make him their patsy. Fantastic stuff. Beautifully acted scene. And not only that, this movie has got two really intense chase scenes that are very reminiscent of Seven. Uh, there's the fog scene, which is the scene where Dormer accidentally shoots and kills his partner, where they first find Finch in this little beach house. Fantastic scene, beautifully directed, full of suspense, and the fog is a fantastic element because it blurs the vision. It blurs your vision, and it just makes everything so much more intense because you don't know what's going to happen. And then there's this other great scene where Dormer is chasing Finch through this logging place, and Dormer accidentally slips and falls into the water, and now he has to swim in order to save his life before he drowns to death. Fantastic, beautifully directed, intense scenes. Cannot praise those scenes enough. I can't praise Christopher Nolan's directing this movie enough. This is his second movie out, and you can tell that this man has a talent for these psychological thrillers. Not in the same vein of a David Fincher in a way, but you can tell that Nolan was a talent, and you can tell this movie has got a lot of fantastic production value to it. The camera work in this movie is spectacular. The production design is outstanding. The overall cinematography in this movie is beautiful. It's gorgeous. Wally Pittsford is Nolan's pretty much A guy, and their talents together is you can't beat Pittsford and Nolan when they were doing their movies together. Insomnia is no exception. Fantastic stuff. Now, all right. So before I wrap this review up, I want to talk about the Ellie Dormer, the Ellie Berg character played by Hilary Swank, who is an important character, because pretty much the Berg character, in a way, idolizes the the Pacino character, and pretty much her entire subplot in this movie is that she has to investigate the killing of the Hap character, and she actually puts two and two together as the movie progresses that it was indeed Dormer who killed Hap, and not only that, she also goes to the beach house where around the beach house area where Hap was killed, where she also confronts the Finch character because she wants to collect some evidence. Though I think she already knew that Finch was already guilty to begin with, and this leads to a very intense climax, pretty much where Finch and Dormer kill each other, which is, to me is a fitting ending with these two. Dormer, he's a good cop, but he was doing shady things, and Finch, he just deserved to die because he was just a manipulating psychopath. Well, I wouldn't say he was a psychopath. He's a killer. And then you have the Schwank character who was willing to pretty much, she knew what happened to Hap. She was willing to discard the evidence that she found in order to preserve Dormer's name. But in Dormer's dying wish, he pretty much tells Berg, "Don't become like him in a way. Don't lose your dignity in a way." Pretty much saying that he wants Berg to be a better cop than him, a more honorable cop than him, not take the shortcuts that he had to do. So I like the ending. The ending is really, really well done. The more I talk about this movie, the more I like it even more, and the more a nitpick that I had as I talk about it and actually let it process. I don't think this movie could have been good without it. It kind of plays an important role in this movie, and I don't mind, and I like it now. What I'm referring to is the whole internal affairs investigation of the Derma character. At first, I was like, do you really need this story point? But as the movie progresses, it does play an important role because it does, especially when you play into Dormer's psychological breakdown. You kind of need that linchpin, and now I appreciate that subplot because it plays into the movie in a much bigger way, particularly because it's the killing of Hap and him willing to rat out the Dormer character is what leads to the breakdown and make it even more which makes this movie even more fascinating. All right, so I'm done rambling on about Insomnia. I love this movie. I thought it was fantastic. I'm going to give it a solid 8 out of 10. I highly recommend this movie. If you have not seen Insomnia, you owe it to yourself to check it out because this is how you do a psychological thriller, and this is the movie that pretty much gave Nolan the Batman Begins gig. So yeah, 10 out of 10 for Insomnia. Let me know what you think about this movie in the comment sections down below. Like the video and subscribe. And I will check you back next time for more.